All right, here's my trades for today. I thought I'd do a video. Haven't done one in a while. Um, I had quite a bit of stocks on my watch list, but I ended up trading 3 tickers: Uber, Lyft, and then Shop. Shop didn't work out, and I'll go over that at the end. Here's my Uber one, which was pretty successful. Here's what I was seeing on the higher time frame. I guess I could go to the daily here first and just show you what that looks like. Okay. Okay, so here's the daily. I guess, basically trending down, and then it also gapped down, I think, with the earnings yesterday. So it was a day 2 play. My goal was to use the fresh levels from day 1 and in congruence with some other higher time frame levels. So you can see here on the daily, there was a good support level here. Obviously, we were pretty far away from it, but I liked that 30 level. So usually when I like a level, even if it's far away, that makes me like the stock. And so I might put it on like a backup watch list, or I might put an alert up there, because you really never know when price is going to rip up there. Sometimes you think there's no way it's going to get there today, but it ends up going up there. So whenever I find a really good level that I like, even if I don't think it's going to hit that, I put it on my backup watch list. But then I also look at it a bit more, because if it's making a really good level that I understand, that tells me, okay, I somewhat understand this price action. So let's see if I understand the price action today, and let's see if I can find something in the shorter time frame. So then on the 15-minute here, you can see when I zoom out here over the last couple weeks, you can see here's that $30 really good support, and now became resistance, because as it was trending down, the last 2 days were really big days, here and here, and you can see how they agreed that this 30 was as high as they were going to go. So really, this is a really nice area right here for a short. And so today, price was right around here in the pre-market. I liked this trend line. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 trend line, but it was a good trend line that told me that it was making lower highs on the higher time frame. It was still trending down even after this, even after the earnings in the day 1. Couldn't get above 30. Kept the highs lower and lower. And so I asked myself, is there something that I can connect with this trend line? And I felt like the pre-market gave some really good signs. You can see here into the close, this was the sort of the swing high here. And then in the pre-market, it tops that same area, pretty much 28.50. You can round up to that area. And then again, one more time, it came up to 28.30, 28.40-ish. So we had almost a triple top, which was really nice. And then when you combine that with the trend line, I felt like this was a really good spot, right? This is sort of a sweet spot. However, I did tell myself with this note here to be careful, because this 30 was even better. And sometimes sometimes the level that I find isn't the level it wants to stop at. Maybe it wants to go to that even bigger level. And or what I've noticed is that a lot of times when I'm trying to go for these shorts, that I get in a little too early and I don't let the front side finish. So, it could have gone up, could have held, and then it could have kept going. And in the past, I've had times where I've tried to short it here, maybe smaller, waiting, and then it kept going. And then I just would end up fighting it. And so I did that, and it ended up working out because I was actually watching some other stocks and kind of clicking around. And this is what it did on the 1 minute. So essentially, I'm trying to short. Okay, so I'm trying to short here at this sort of sweet spot. Or if everything was strong again, we had a big continuation or something, or maybe things were in a range. However, this was squeezing up and it got to 30. I was going to watch it and I wanted to short from there. So basically, either here or here were the two spots. And so in the 1 minute, it gave me a really nice entry, which is sort of a 5-minute breakdown, or a 5-minute low. You can see here And these trend lines, so these trend lines, even though I put them on the global trend line, so they should show up on all the charts, they don't transfer very well when you change time frames, which is one of the many reasons that I don't like DOS. And I would love to switch over to Thinkorswim. I just have to kind of use that energy to do Thinkorswim more. But yeah, again, you can see the convergence here, and this was the convergence, right? But then when I make it bigger, yeah, I guess it's converging pretty well there. So squeezes up, gets above the 2850, then has some starts to struggle, makes a really nice consolidation, and then just pretty plain and simple breaks down through 2850. I really was just risking above this white candle here. I just sort of felt like this should happen right away. I mean, it was pretty easy and cut and dry, I feel like. Worked almost right away. And yeah, so this was my trade of the day pretty much. But there were things I could have done better. I didn't get in heavy enough. I did write down how many shares I really wanted to get in to be a full 1R. But I didn't quite get in as full. So that's a error by me. And then this was quite a bit that I got out of here. I don't know why I was sort of questioning what it was doing. But you can see here just pulling back, a nice healthy pullback towards VWAP. But I did get in some again, so I'm happy about getting back in, but still, I didn't get in as much as this. Then when you zoom out, here's the ATR. So I was thinking that 27, yeah, around 27 was going to be one of my main targets, because you can see yesterday kind of went up and then came down and held 27 and then again held 27. So I felt like 27 was a really good level. I didn't necessarily think that it was going to be able to do a full ATR, which I guess that is almost a full ATR. So yeah, 27 was my main target. I got out of most and I held some. I left the house and I left some during this, and I actually had a range order set. My break even was somewhere really high up here. And then my final target was 26. There was a big bid down there. I think it did like 26.05, never filled, came back. It did do a inverse head and shoulders. However, everything was so weak. So I started kind of adding in super small. Thought that I might go hit that 26. I saw a lot of volume coming in even harder here. Really thought it was just going to waterfall down to that 26. And then it didn't. And I took some profits and just got all out. So this whole thing I could have done better at. I honestly think instead of doing all of this, I could have just gotten in a lot heavier, maybe with the stop above here. Once it gets above the 27, which is the level I said I liked, gets above it and then comes back under, I think that's a clear sign that, okay, that's its last time it's hitting 27 for right now. And let's get in heavy, risking above here, averaging down. So basically break even would be up here, and then main area is at least low of day, and then a new 5-minute high or back above 26.50, then I get all out. All right, so my next trade was LYFT. LYFT was actually my first trade, I believe, that I got into. It's all alone here on the daily. Had the huge gap down. All the taxi car companies are in play, essentially. And yeah, sort of a similar setup with a day 2 play here. So when I looked at the 15-minute, I liked a couple things. I really liked the post-market volume and the action. If you can see here, it almost looks like it's opening market volume and price action. It looks really nice and clean. But this was actually before the open yesterday. So you had a really nice consolidation. and then you had a continuation down. And so I really liked this level. I liked this level a lot. And then what I also liked was this little double bottom, higher lows, and then it really made a nice trend line up, right up to the 22 area. Or let's see. Yeah. So then on the 1 minute, I guess it didn't make it to 22. So yeah, so it was underneath 22. So basically I was trading this trend line right here. It was opening up right here. So my thought was, hey, if price can get, let me adjust this a little bit. If price can get above 22, it's going to fall back into this action, and it could hold. And if it holds, I'd like to go back up towards the top of it. And that's sort of what it did for part of the day. And I wanted to get a piece of it before it got above 22. I thought about adding, didn't get a chance. Everything was so weak, it was kind of scary. So anyway, so I told myself this is going to be an opening drive, right? We're either going to get, especially if this breaks down. If this breaks down, this might just be an opening drive. Go ahead. It'll flush right away, and you get a nice short right away. If not, if it holds, we're going to go back up to 22, and then my goal was to see 22 hold and to go up to 23.20-ish. And so then on the 1 minute, I liked this sort of sub level that aligned with the trend line. You can see it was a nice resistance here. And then pre-market actually really agreed with that level too. So a nice confluence here of levels. And here was the open. So the open goes down. I get in, but I got in for a momentum. So I wanted it to work almost right away, and I didn't want it to get much higher than the 21.50. So I was sort of using that $0.50, right? So yeah, that's even better. So you had the $0.50, you had this level, and then you had the trend line. That's why I said I felt like I wanted to see an opening drive play. I wanted to see a big move down right away, or it hold, and then if it did if it did hold, it was going to be a nice long, at least 22 quickly. So got short, felt like, okay, got back above 22.50, so I got right out, and I actually turned around and went long. So as soon as it came down here, I was watching it. You can see it made, let's zoom in. You can see, yeah, it made a doji, right? So I'm watching it. My next candle I'm wanting is a new, 1 minute low. And while it wasn't doing that, I told myself, okay, I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to flip long right away if it doesn't work. And that's what I did. So got out, flipped long, got in as heavy as I wanted to, the amount of shares that I wanted to give me a full 1 hour risk. I'm risking about 20 cents. So somewhere around 21.40, getting in around 21.60-ish, somewhere around there, about 20 cents, 1 hour risk. That's what my general thing was there. So felt really good about that. Held it all the way till 22. Felt really good about that. This was kind of small, I think, and I wanted to watch it a little bit further. I think I took a little bit more off here. This might have been 25%. And then look at this 22 held so nicely. I think on any other day I would have added here. I really would have, because this was just so clean, but everything was so weak. Even though this was moving the opposite, it was tricky. And so I just held it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight this. The market's going the other way. Everything's going the other way. I'm not going to add and lower my chances right now. If the market was long and breaking out or whatever, that would have really made me more convicted. So I would have added, but instead I didn't. I still would have had a really good trade. I think this would have been 4 or 5 R if it had gotten up to this 23.20-ish area. It held, partialed some more, And I held a huge chunk for at least 23, and it just didn't get up there. You can see here it made it a really nice looking head and shoulders, which are all the signals for a turnaround, you know. So especially once this happened, it broke down here. I mean, that's a really good cut and dry reversal. So what I should have done is when it came back up and retested, I should have gotten out of most of it here with the idea of, okay, maybe I'll add in at this 22 down here. Yeah, I like that better. But yeah, I realize that I need some better reasons to sell, reasons to hold. I need some like really concrete rules, because obviously I had a really good setup. I was reading it really well, but you know, I was going against the market, so I was a little conflicted there. I really liked how 22 was holding. It got back above. I added in a little bit more. And then, you know, this whole time I was like, this is most likely reversing. So then I just got all out. So I ended up making another 1R there. But I mean, I was up to, I think 3R up here. Like I said, it would have gotten to 4 or 5R somewhere around up here. So that was a little bit of a bummer, because I was pretty much at goal, and then I kind of lost a lot of it in here. But I was okay with it, didn't try to overtrade it. What I liked about, I don't know where my trend line went. So I had a trend line here. It wasn't perfect, but what it does say is that there's higher lows happening, right? So when I make this global right here, right? So here's the 2150 area, and then here's the trend line. And you can just see here that it really held that trend line through all that sort of sell-off with the markets and the other stocks. I mean, it really sort of held that higher low, which really showed me how strong this sort of trend was. And I could have even tried it one more time. You can see it made a new low and then got back above. A little fake breakdown, gets back above the trend line. This would have been a decent long if I was really convicted in this level. And I was already done for the day, so I didn't want to overtrade, but I think that would have been a good try. Maybe another one for a new 5-minute high right there, with the stop down here. Like I said, once it gets above 2150 and holds the trend line and gets back inside this opening range again, I would have liked it to at least a 22. You can see here it went even higher. So this thing was really wanted to go up. So I was happy with how I went short, flipped it, went long. I felt like I read that pretty well. And the only thing was, you know, wish I could have made some more here. I think when next time I see this super nice reversal pattern, just need to, it is what it is, and cut out of most of it the best I can. Like I said, once it came down here, I was a little worried. Once it broke down and really started making this other half, I could have gotten out somewhere in here, or even waited till it bounced, which it did, retested, and then gotten out of most here with the idea that, okay, this thing might be reversing. Let's see what it does at 22. I can maybe add in again, or I could just let it see what it does at 22. Once 22 breaks, then I'm going to get all out of my original position. That should have been what I was saying. Yeah, so. And that's it for that. And then the other one was shop, and shop was weird. Okay, so what I liked about shop, let me fix this. Jeez. I don't even know what's going on here. Okay. Let's go to the daily. I think you guys were probably watching it today. Super downtrending. I liked this little bounce, and I liked all these green candles. And then I liked how it gapped down underneath them. So it gapped down underneath all of these five green candles in a row, and also gapped down at this agreed support here of 411. So I'm like, oh man, this might be a gap and go, you know, because all these buyers are trapped. You know, they got shorts, they covered some. Meanwhile, maybe somebody. But yeah, I guess at the same time, it's like who was buying down here? I don't know. Maybe they were. But anyways, there was clear buyers here, especially on this day. Gets under here. I'm like, this is a gap and go down. I want to short this if it gets maybe up and retests. I want to short it. So that was my play. Don't know if that is if I have an edge with that or not, but that's what I wanted to do. But there were things I did not like about this, and I told myself that right in the pre-market. I told myself really big spread, expensive stock. I'm not as good with these because I don't trade that many shares right now. You can see here this really nice 411.50-ish support here, so I loved that. And then I liked that in congruence with that idea that it's opening underneath all of this stuff, so it's going to be buyers are trapped, and it's going to be a gap and go. And then when you look at the pre-market, it had a lot of action, which was nice, a nice little compression. And then it started to drop down. That's where it drops down. And then it comes up. I love this because it kind of goes down, comes up, hits this area, struggles. And I looked at these wicks as, well, that's just a shitty spread. I mean, shit, I think the spread was like $2 at some point. So this is just a terrible stock to trade because I wasn't going to use limit orders on this. And you're just out of the money immediately. So these were so tiny of shares. And I'm glad I did that because it was terrible. But I tried it 3 times. Tried it once here, then got out. Tried it again here, risking somewhere up here, and then wicked me out. And then tried it one more time. And I really liked it here because it felt like, it tried twice. It compressed a little bit, then made a nice little breakdown with some volume. I felt like, okay, this is when it happens. I'll try one more time. And it started working. It even went all the way down here. And so I added in, of course, I added in on the biggest volume candle. That's when everyone else probably added in. And then that moved my break even higher or lower, and then I got out. But man, I was really pissed because I really thought this thing was just going to trend down all day. And I can't believe it didn't. With everything else that happened in the market, this thing still didn't fucking trend down. It did this shitty action and then held and then was long all day. That just tells me shop was just not moving like I thought it would, and it was totally different than the market and wanted to do its own thing on top of being spready and all that shit. So I think I ended up losing about 0.6R on this, so I'm happy with how much I lost there. I mean, really, this thing moved almost $7 from here to here. What I should have been doing is just getting ready to get out or getting ready to get out at low of day. So I think I was chasing a bit here. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I found a bunch of other stocks that I had on my watch list that I'm going to need to go look through and see what they did and if they moved how I thought. There are definitely some things I could have done better on, and I'll notate that in my notes and stuff. But thanks for watching my video.